students come to me asking for help to try to um, add some variety to their improv or their soloing. And I think the biggest thing that's overlooked traditionally in teaching is really understanding rhythm and phrasing. Everybody thinks that learning a new scale shape or a new type of scale is going to be the answer. Most things are played in modes of the major scale where one shape can get you through everything you need. The notes are all there. Learning a new scale shape is showing you the same 7 notes or the same how many ever notes. If you're a pentatonic scale, same 5 notes in a different spot of the neck. People can know every scale shape there is known to man, and their playing can still sound mundane and repetitive if they don't vary things rhythmically. And a lot of students, even intermediate or some advanced students, don't really grasp triplets well, especially. So understanding how to play against what I like to think every song has a heartbeat or a backbone, that count that if you were to clap along or tap your foot to any song, learning how to play against and around that effectively, and varying up ideas. So taking any basic scale and learning how to change how you're going to play in and around that. I think that's what makes most players sound interesting. For example, if you took a song and gave it to 10 different famous guitar players or any guitar players and told them they all had to work within one small area of the neck between the 7th and 10th frets on the G, B, and E strings with one shape, where they all had to use the exact same very small area of the neck, exact same notes, they still would all sound different from one another. They would all still sound like themselves. And what you would be hearing is the way they choose to play the notes, the phrasing and the rhythmic patterns that they tend to play. A lot of my favorite guitar players are also vocalists or play other instruments, because a lot of other instruments come at it from a melodic standpoint. Most guitar players practice things in a straight up and down a scale type exercises, and all they seem to be concerned about is how fast they can do it, which even if you get it nice and fast, it still can be pretty boring musically and melodically. So learning how to play new and different rhythmic structures and varying rhythmic structures will add a whole new level to your playing. And I tried to gear this lesson a little bit more towards beginner or very early intermediate playing, so that even if you're just starting to learn scales, this is something you should add to your practice from the beginning, and I think it'll help take you a long way and a lot farther faster. And even if you've been playing for a while, perhaps this could add some extra ideas and some new variety to your playing and improvisation. Okay, today we're going to run over a exercise in learning quarter note, eighth note, swing eighth note, quarter note triplet, and eighth note triplet feels against a click track, and how to hear and feel some of those, especially the triplets that are not as natural and obvious to practice, and learn how to hear those and how they sit against a click track. For this exercise, it's all going to be the C major scale in the open position. Open first third, open second third, open second third, open second, open first third, open first third. And then we're going to take these same exercises and shorten them on 3, 4, and 5 note sections. So to start off with, here our tempo, we're going to start off around 105 beats per minute. So quarter notes will be 1 note for every click. Obviously straight up and back down to start with. Eighth notes will be twice as fast. We're going to have 2 notes for every click. So we're going to have now, of course, you can do this with your own metronome and slow it down if you need to. The trick with locking these and making them sound smooth is you want to really feel every other note. If you practice accentuating and picking every other note a little harder, you want that to lock with the click of the metronome. So you can still hear that internal click happening against the eighth note, 1 and 2 and 3. And a variation of that is going to be eighth notes in a swing feel. And basically all we want to do there is we want the note in between the clicks to be slightly closer to the second click. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and very straight, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're just pushing that eighth note, that and, a little late in the beat, and that's the swing feel. So here's what straight eighth notes and swing eighth notes sound and feel like. Straight. And now swing. A couple, obviously, song examples are a good way to kind of get used to the difference in feel. The song Girl from the Beatles is a good example of something that switches back and forth between straight feel and swing feel. The majority of the song, the verses are all in a straight feel, and then the bridge, they're in a swing feel, and the bridge switches to straight. This is not the right key of the song, but this is the general idea. And then the bridge goes. So the verse where it's going 1 and 2 and 3 in a swing, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to the bridge is very, very straight. So if you listen to the song Girl from the Beatles and just practice counting the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the swing feel versus the straight feel, you can really hear the difference in the same song.
She's the kind of girl who puts you down when friends are there, you feel a fool. When you say she's looking good,
Okay, for triplets, we're going to start off with quarter note triplets. Quarter note triplets are where you have 3 notes in the place of 2, so 3 quarter notes in the place of where 2 quarter notes would be. So we're going to have 2 clicks, 1, 2. We're going to fit 3 notes evenly in there. Again, song examples are going to be a good way to get used to hearing and feeling this. If this is my quarter note click, 1, 2, 3, 4. The other sound is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. I know it's easier said than done at first. I'm going to play through this against the click. And 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put. Okay, if you listen to that closely, what you'll see is that there's groups of 3 notes. The first note will land on a click with a beat. The next 2 notes do not land on beats. And then, so every 4th note should go 1, 2, 3, and every 1 should land on a click with this. There will be another click in between those beats. So one of the clicks is going to feel like it's out of place with the notes. But what you want to get used to is feeling like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And all those 1s should land on a click. So if you listen, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So each of those 1s is landing on a click. And there's also a click happening in between. That's a quarter note triplet. An eighth note triplet is actually a little easier, I think, to feel and play. You want 3 notes in the place of 2/8 notes. 2/8 notes would land with each click. So you really, with 3 notes there, it's just you're playing 3 notes on every click. So for every click, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So every click will give you 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Eighth note triplets are going to feel fast at this tempo. You might want to slow it down and just play 3 notes, pop, 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 3 notes for every click. For quarter note triplets, there's plenty of song examples. If you listen to the beginning of the song "Red Skies at Night" from The Fix, the whole thing is based on a triplet fill. A lot of songs have, triplet feels, as a section of it where it's very defined and obvious to hear. One song that I think is a good example of that is Gloria. If you listen to Gloria, the Van Morrison version of Gloria, it's E, D, A. I don't know what tempo. Let's just do it at this tempo. At 105. And then that little bridge part. That whole section there is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 against this bump, 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 bump. That's all a triplet feel, so it's going back and forth between. So if you can hear the way that part of that song sounds in your head against this click, bum 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 bum, against that click, and practice hearing that song, that's something you can use while you're playing the scale. Even though it's different notes, it's still that bum 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 bum. It's that part of Gloria that against that. Also the intro to Everybody Wants to Rule the World from Tears for Fears. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I think the hi-hat is even a the hi-hat's kind of accenting a triplet feel through most of the song. Listening to those songs are good ways of getting used to the triplet feel. Also, another good one. I don't know if this is the right key or not, but starting on B on the 7th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 7th, 5th, 3rd, and 2nd. White Stripes song, Seven Nation Army. These first notes right there, those first notes aren't. Once we start on that descending part, it's a triplet. 1, 2, 3, and those are just, half notes. They're 2 beats each, but the walk down is triplets. 1, 2, 3. And if you just practice playing that, and whenever you're having a hard time hearing triplets within a scale, think of that riff, bum 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 bum, or think of Gloria, bum 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 bum, against that beat, against that backbeat, bum 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 bum, and then try to play the scale that way. And once you get it, you'll always have it. You'll always know it. It's just getting used to hearing and feeling that against the backbone of the click track. Another thing to do to focus more on just getting the rhythm of this and not worry so much exactly just about the full scale is to take smaller sections of the scale. Start off with maybe a 3-note section just of one string, and try all those different patterns. quarter notes, eighth notes, swing eighth note, and then triplets, and then the eighth note triplets. And some of those are going to feel weirder than others, and again, you may need to slow down the click track to it, but getting used to the feel of those. Then add another note, add a fourth note, and every time it's going to be a different challenge. Getting used to pivoting. Right there, what I was doing was going up and back down those three notes. You can do, let's say if we add a fourth note, let's say that starting from the D note on the B string, and that turning that pivot around, like, you know, let's say with eighth notes, is gonna feel different with adding that fourth note and crossing that string, and then adding the fifth note, adding, let's say, starting on a C note on the first fret of the B string. So and then switching into the eighths. Swing. And getting into doing the triplets. And then the eighth note triplets, which remember are the 3 beats for every click. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can take one scale pattern, a very short pattern, and every time you add a note to it and try all those different things is much better than just literally practicing straight up a scale, straight down the scale. It's the variations in rhythm that make something sound musical, as opposed to just how fast you can play straight up and down a scale. Another good idea to do is to play up and down the scale and try to alter all these midstream. Start off, alter midstream. So you're playing up quarter notes, do a handful of eighth notes, switch to triplets, and don't worry about exactly how many you're doing of each. Try to just maybe be random about it. And you can see it's very, very different than just practicing a scale straight up and down, but you're learning how to play against a foundation. I think every song has a heartbeat, whether anything is really accentuating it or not. Sometimes the drum part is driving home that click track feel. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes everybody in the band has to hear that click internally, and you play against it. And that's the only way for a band to lock. But for your rhythmic ideas to go against something that you're hearing in your head, you can create much more interesting ideas than just straight up and down scales. No matter how fast they go, they just start turning into sounding like exercises, and this is a way to vary up rhythmic ideas, even with one scale. Obviously, then you can move this into other scales on the neck, and use it in practice in a song, and you'll see that it's a lot more musical than just straight up and down a scale without any rhythmic variations.